Welcome to Find You Fridays with me, Lorene. Hughes is my name. How are you all today? Hi, Melinda. I wasn't sure I'd see you today. I know you've had a very, very busy, full-on week, much as we all have. And yeah, wow. It has been energetically full-on. It has been physically full on. I don't know about you guys, but I'm very, very grateful that it is a long weekend here in South Australia. For sure. It's been a big week. Big week. So let me just pin that one to the top. There we go. Hi, Edwina. Hello. All right. So apparently this week, and we are still in shadow period of a new moon, yay, we have had a solar eclipse around the world. Only just sort of a partial one over in New Zealand, and so we didn't really get it here in Australia as such as the physical side of things, but I still very firmly believe that we feel the energy of these things. Hi, Brian. And we've had that. We've had the new moon. We've had a comet coming through. We've had solar flares. There has been a lot going on energy-wise this week. And I know I have been feeling it very, very much. So, thank you, love. It's really pretty, actually. I love it. It's beautiful. Hi, Tamara. How are you, darling? So, yes, I ended up spending the day today very much asleep in bed for a lot of it. I chose unwisely with my food yesterday, and yes, my body showed me I required a lot of sleep today. So I'm here and we're going to have a good show. I'm looking forward to it. And with any luck, we will have some absolutely amazing things, amazing insights popping through today that will just help us for the rest of our week next week, and see what else is floating through. So, hi, Sonia. Hello, darling. Alrighty. Don't we just love the energies? How have you all handled the energies over the week? Have you felt it? Have you not felt it? Bronchitis and COVID together this week, so been in bed lots. That's a very good time to do that, Sonia, and I would not be at all surprised if those two things are actually your body's way of having a nice little upgrade, so congratulations. Quite often when we have bio upgrades, it does show up as cold and flu-like symptoms. So welcome to your next upgrade. Enjoy. And isn't it beautiful that you've had that moment this week to actually just sit with the energy and just be in bed and sleep? I know I felt like that today. I just felt so grateful that I do only do 4 days a week at my normal job, as normal as that could ever be. And it's a beautiful thing to have the space of being able to just rest when we require to rest, So without it, you can hear all those little ding-a-ling-a-lings. You guys are very keen to get me started into the weekly readings so that we can start on your guys' personal readings. So let's have a look, see who wishes to come out and play for the weekly reading. This one. Okay, cool. Yeah, bio upgrades are a blessing, but it's like any renovation. Sometimes it gets a bit messy. before it gets cool. So that's part of why cold and flu-like symptoms come up. So if you just pop that into your mind of going, oh, we'll reframe it as, oh, wow, actually, what if I'm actually having a bio upgrade? I haven't got the dreaded lurgy or the flu or whatever. It's like, what if I'm actually, my body's trying really in a very quick way to get rid of the toxins and the energies that are no longer serving me? What if that's what's going on here? You know, it's like today, what if my body, because I was supposed to have a connection with someone this afternoon, and I was just like, I can't. I just have to stay home. And they reminded me of just running some body processes on myself. And I said, oh, that's such a great idea. I totally not even thought about that. So I did some energetic body processes on myself, and I drifted back off to sleep. It was great. Hi, Judy. Alrighty, so the reading that we're going for today is from the 5th of October through to the 11th of October. I wish I knew where my pink candle's gone. It's gone walkabout and I don't know where it is. I don't think I burned it all. Pretty sure I didn't, because it was my special one. Yeah, when I've had, before I really dove into this world of the woo-woo and getting really familiar with the messages of the body, I used to get a lot of bronchitis. I went through a spell there getting a lot of bronchitis, and a bit of laryngitis was thrown in there for good measure, and chest infections in general. It was about probably a good 6 to 7 months worth. And what I began to realize was a big part of it was that I wasn't allowing me, the being, to breathe. I was trying to, like, in reflection, I can see what I was trying to do was to fit into what I thought was somebody else's mold for me of, you know, what it was to be a good wife and a good partner and a good sister and a good friend and a good employee and all those sorts of parameters. And I was trying really, really hard to do all that for what I thought everybody else's expectations were. And never once did I actually stop and go, well, actually, what do I require? What do I wish to be? How do I wish to be seen and perceived? And does it actually matter what anybody else thinks of me? It took a while to get to that point. And there's still some moments because, you know, I am still a recovering people pleaser. But yes, it's one of those interesting things that does pop up around people pleasing is chest infections, nose sinus stuff comes up. In fact, Ina Segal probably has a bit to say about that. And I saw Alex had his book just here. Oh, and look, he's got Louise Hay here as well. You can heal your life. So in our household, these two books are some of our go-to books. If you ever want to start learning about the different things, because I know I have a bit of a slightly varied audience. Some people are like really super familiar with listening to their bodies and know what their bodies are trying to tell them, and others of you are not. So if you want a couple of different people that you could resonate with, like there are people who are real hardcore Louise Hay fanatics, and then there are those of us who are Ina Segal fans. And so you choose whichever one. I personally prefer Ina, but Alex leans a bit more towards Louise, but he has both, as you can see, because these are his books. So yeah, it's a beautiful thing to start learning about that. The one thing that I do love about Ina's book is that she gives you like full remedies and stuff, and you can pick that up from Big W. So, or if you're not going to the shops, then you can order it online. Mm. There you go. So yeah, you can get them through Amazon and stuff. I'm sure Louise Hay you can probably find in like Big W and stuff as well. If you can find Ina's, then you could probably find Louise's. But yeah, like any of the if you don't want to buy from online, like going through Booktopia or Fish Pond or Amazon or whatever, then I'm sure that you can find them at any of your metaphysical type stores, your crystal gem type shops too. They quite often have them there, but the prices there can be a bit more ramped up. I can't remember how much my Ina Segal one was. I think it was around $25-ish, but don't quote me on that one. So yeah, Tamara uses and loves Metaphysical Anatomy by Yvette Rose. I haven't heard of that one. That sounds interesting. So yes, one of the things, so let me just see what Ina has to say about bronchitis just while we're here, and then I'll go back to that weekly reading. 140. Okay. Bronchitis is feeling too much pressure, conflict and anger in the family, which leads to irritation with the people close to you, blaming others for what you can't fix or control, needing time out and time to yourself, feeling a lack of appreciation and love, and pushing people away. So as far as that would go, like for a remedy, you'd probably look at chest or lungs, and then go with whatever it says in there, or coughs maybe. Let me see. 5. Anyway, chest congestion. Yep. So yes, there's a lot of different ways of working with this book. The remedies that she has in here, I used it on the precancerous cells in my cervix, and I completely healed myself. So that was before, way back way before I even moved to Australia. I was about 28 when I did the process. So I think I don't even think I had a set of oracle cards at that stage. I didn't have a damn thing. This was kind of like my first little dive into that side of life. So yes. Hi, Juanita. Alrighty. So for this week to come, I'm not aware of any astrological stuff going on this week to come, but I'm hoping and praying it's going to settle down for us, because man, we have had a lot going on. You must have, my rest today. Yes. Oh, thank you. All right. So to start off with, we've got, for this week to come, for the collective, we've got chocolate. Now, chocolate's never a bad thing in my world, unless you're overindulging, which, but a little bit's always okay in my world, which is nourish your body and soul. And after the week that we've all had with all of these energies all around the world, and the more aware that you are of, as we step up through the dimensions, so we're going from 3 dimensions through the 4th to the 5th, the more aware you are, the more sensitive you are to the things happening in the globe on an astrological sense as well. So when we have things like solar eclipses and some solar flares and comets whizzing by and sort of playing with the energies, and a new moon and all these things happening, whether we get to physically see them or not here, wherever you are, you're still aware of them. It's like, instead of the old adage of, the pebble in the pond with the ripples, it's more like that. You see how the ripples are coming out, but they're just as strong, no matter what point it is, whether it's the start or the beginning. this is just my personal opinion about how the energies are being experienced by us now. And when we can't see what's going on, it's harder for us to sort of pinpoint, why do I feel off today? Why is my energy, like normally for me coming into a new moon, my energy is normally off the charts. But this week I've just been, we've got to get through this. We can do this. But I've felt really funky and fuzzy all week, especially yesterday, and feeling like I had just this huge responsibility on my shoulders, and it was just so much energy going on yesterday, and I'm just like going, oh man, and then I had to, race home, change cars, change myself, go back out, do craft class, and then come home again. It was just such a very, very long day, and I'm glad I went to craft class yesterday. It was a beautiful class, and I'm so happy I went because we started doing Christmas cards. Yeah, it's been absolutely exhausting this week. So I commend you if you're here now with me, because it's been freaking full on. All right, so we've got red, which is to free yourself from pain. So for this week that has come, that has just been, we really do require to nourish our body and soul, or our being, depending on what you want to call it. We're having to catch up. We've had like a big, huge pressure pot of energies. It's time to catch up. And it might be showing up as a bit of pain this week. So you might be having some headaches. You might be having a bit of bronchitis. You might be having a cold or a flu. You might be having some aches and pains and just feeling a bit like lethargic. So after the week that we've had, please nourish yourself and just know that these are energies and feelings, these symptoms, I guess you could say, is your body's way of trying to ask you to slow down for a moment and just breathe and nourish yourself if you can. Okay. The next one is, we are going to be attracting abundance. So the interesting thing about attracting abundance is not necessarily money. Abundance is an abundance of energy. And money is energy, so it could be money that you're attracting to yourself. But what quite often happens is, after we have a big, massive clear out, it leaves space for an abundance of new, fresh energies to come in. So that is part of why we're getting attract abundance this week coming up. So I would highly, highly, highly suggest over the weekend, if you can, take some time for yourselves, chill out, just have a very low-key weekend so that you can allow yourselves to just reset and gather up that energy, get rid of any of the old clag from this last week, and allow yourself to create that space, as uncomfortable as it might be. Create that space so that you can then bring in that lovely abundance. All right. We've got the next card here for the collective, which is Aqua, which is experience peace and calm. So it's suggested that I'm just seeing a lot of nature. So allow yourselves the chance to get out into nature over this next few days, into next week, as much as you can, even if you're like just walking to work or something, or like you've parked the car and you walk past a garden or something. Just take a moment, even if you're just, as you're walking past, you just touch the leaves or something, and allow yourself that moment to connect with the nature. If you can't leave your home, like I know some of our viewers here are unable to leave home easily, if you've got some potted plants or something like that, or maybe if you have the funds, order yourself some flowers, get them into your home this week. Have those moments of connecting with nature so that you can actually just drop down into yourself and breathe. Do some of those breathing techniques, even just the real simple ones. I have a tea that always, and it's funny because it's called Breathe. But every time I sip it, it's like my body just naturally wants to go, and it's the Puka brand, and is breathe in with eucalyptus, and it's got like mints and ginger, and as in peppermint and spearmint, I think maybe. It's got eucalyptus in there, it's got the ginger in there, and it is so good. All right, which of course your peppermint spearmint combo and your ginger, peppermint spearmint ginger, is really good for aches and pains, and if you've got headaches and things like that going on, it's really good for that too. If you've got an upset belly, the ginger of course is going to help you with that too. Now towards the end of the week, well, like Tuesday, Wednesday, you start feeling this sort of Wednesday, Thursday-ish, leading into Friday. You're going to feel your brilliance, which is about discovering your sparkle. So after a few days of feeling a little bit like, okay, I'm kind of just chilling, I'm slowing, and I'm just giving myself some space, because we need that time to regulate. We have to allow our bodies that time to catch up. Our being has just had that, like I said, a big, huge pressure cooker just going, and now you're going to release all of that shit. And it's like, it's going to come out and it's going to be a bit, and then it's like, okay. And now you've got to go just take a breath. And now you can breathe and just go, we're allowing our lovely little sparkles of abundance coming in. Ooh, now that's when you start having a look and seeing, what is that going to look like? What is that going to, how is that showing up for me? What is my sparkle? What do I wish to focus on now? Because, you know, so often we just get caught in the humdrum of everyday life over and over and over and over and over again. And it's like, at some point, you have to allow the humdrum to go to the side, step into your radiance and your sparkle, and let that shine. So, all right, so let's have a look at our overarching theme. What's our word for this week to come? We got sharing. So I'm just asking, what's that about? Sharing. As you move through, reach out to your fellow sisters and brothers who get it, and share with them what you're going through. Share with them where you might be feeling, and ask, dude, how are you going with these energies? Because they might be feeling a little bit alone and a bit lost. And even this last week, I've somebody I would consider as not a woo-woo person. In fact, they're really not. But they kind of are, but they're kind of not. They're one of those that I can say to them, look, there's been a fuck ton of energies up this week. Just chill out. Take a breath. And they kind of go, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but okay, I'll take a breath. Because they were having a moment. They were having a moment where they were just so frustrated and so angry about stuff. And it's like, okay, I get it. I hear you. And now take a breath and focus on what's in front of you. You got this. So there we go. That's the week to come. It looks like it's going to get a little bit more before it gets yay. But with any luck, we'll all come back on Friday next week and feel like $1 million, because we will have attracted that into our world. That would be good, wouldn't it? All right. Cool bananas. So, thank you. I hope you all have fun with those energies over this next week. So, beautiful Miss Edwina, could you please pop your question in the chat, please? Because you're very quick off the mark today, and I'm very grateful for that. Oh, excuse me. Oh, yes, Christine, the hurricane over your way. I'm sorry, I don't watch the news. So I tend to avoid, and because I don't watch it, my algorithm doesn't tend to feed me news stories. So I'm sorry if you're like with the hurricane and how it's affected you and your properties and things. So I hope that you guys have kept safe and everybody is okay. So yeah. So Edwina, if you're floating around, please pop your question in the chat. Thank you. Can you even believe it? We are less than 3 months till Christmas. All right. Cool. Thank you, Edwina. I haven't seen these cards coming out for a little while, so this is nice. Nice, nice, nice. Edwina, I'm curious, what is your cultural heritage? Hi, Catherine. Because these are really interesting energies that come through with your team. And I'm like, I'm struggling to place it. Like, there feels like if you're back home, I would say you definitely have Māori heritage, but it doesn't quite fit. So it's like, I'm just curious. There's a culture and it's not white. I'm going to put it that way. That's just me being curious. You don't have to answer if you don't want to. That's all right. Thank you. I'm like, I can, because obviously there's a lot of Cook Islanders and Samoans in New Zealand as well. And every single one of them have their own feel, their own vibration. And so it's like I could feel it was familiar, but it was like, it's not that. It's yeah. So thank you. I appreciate that very much. Yes. Yeah, it's interesting being a New Zealander living in Australia because there's cultures over here that I never experienced back in New Zealand. So the Italian and the Greek culture is not something that we have very much of in New Zealand at all. And yet over here, so we have obviously a lot more of the island cultures. And I mean island as in the Fijians, the Tongans, the Cook Islanders, those, and obviously the Māori culture, which is native to New Zealand. But as far as other cultures goes, like we have a higher amount of like Indian and Chinese, as in Indians. And yes, there's a bit of that here too, like the Indians and the Chinese. So that seemed to be normal to me coming over. But the Italians and the Greeks, that's been a whole big culture shock for me. So I'm curious, to those of you who are watching, if you'd care to share, what's your cultural heritage? And of course, the Vietnamese is massive down around the port area, which I spent the first 13 years here, was around the port, Port Adelaide. And so, I fell in love with Vietnamese food, and they just have such a really beautiful way of interacting with people and stuff. And like, I'd never experienced Vietnamese food either. So, and that was a really nice addition to my experiences here. But it's a fun fact. So one of the things about like the Rosewater area, Rosewater, Ottaway, that kind of area, even a little bit of the Woodville area, and the reason why it's a really heavily populated by the Vietnamese people is because after the Vietnam War, when there was a lot of refugees that were coming to Australia, a lot of them landed there. Like the refugee centre was actually in Port Adelaide. And so when they came out of the refugee centre, because they had basically landed there, they stayed there. And they built their homes there or bought their homes there, and they created their businesses and their families, and have, just, we're a couple of generations down now, and you would never know that they had not been there before. But that's why all of the language facilities and all that was in that sort of area, the sort of Rosewater, Ottaway kind of area. So yeah, if you're ever curious about why there's a large Vietnamese population, that was thanks to the Vietnam War. So there you go. Catherine, German, Ukrainian, but born here. Yeah, I only just found out probably just recently, within the last couple of years, that I actually discovered that. And I was like, well, that explains a lot. All right, Edwina, your team. First of all, we've got, so this is the secret language of your soul from Inner Scale cards coming through. It says, deepen your concentration, focus, and grow into what could be. So what I'm seeing with this one is like, be aware of where you're being a bit scattered and sort of going from thing to thing. It's like there might be some moments there where you're actually required to really hone in on something so that you can grow that particular project, is what I'm being told. There's something that you're having to focus a bit more energy on to help that to grow and develop. Interesting. That's for work. You're working on something special for them at the moment. Value your uniqueness, so the world awaits you. There's a lot more. we say this often to you, my dear. Now is not the time for you to be shy. And it is time for you to really start acknowledging your uniqueness, your beauty, your passion, your sparkle, your inner light, to allow yourself the chance to really be seen and heard and acknowledged. But first you have to do that for yourself. And the interesting thing is these first two cards that have come out are both sort of like those bluey kind of colors. So it's all up around your throat chakra area, right? Your throat, your third eye, sort of heading up that direction. The thing I find interesting about that is I'm curious, do you actually allow yourself to speak your mind? Because that's what I'm sort of seeing is like you're almost putting blocks. It's like you're just about to say something like there's a brilliant idea that you've got and you go, whoop, because there's like a fear that's sitting in behind that, which is not allowing yourself to be seen and heard. So the interesting thing is the very next card that's coming through is think before you speak. Be exacting. So what I'm seeing with that one is like it's not about having verbal diarrhea, but also this was actually upside down. So think before you speak is like you're actually thinking too much before you speak. You're overthinking, you're over analyzing and not allowing yourself to be seen and heard. So some interesting familial stuff going on there around, you know, that lovely old adage of if you might have grown up with being seen and not heard. That can really get into your psyche. So as an adult, which you are now, you can be seen, you can be heard, you are allowed to speak. And if you haven't ever given yourself permission to do these things, I'm giving you permission now. Okay? Because your voice and your ideas are just as important as the next person's. And in some cases, they might be even more important because you come from things from a different point of view. So it's time to sort of unshackle yourself from other people's points of views and belief systems around not being seen and heard, or you only speak when spoken to. That's all stuff that you've got to untangle from your brain, get it out of there, say thank you very much for keeping me safe and keeping my parents happy. But now it's time for you to go because now I'm a parent, I'm an adult, I require time to speak. So got to relearn those skills. Okay, because sitting underneath all of that, there's some pretty intense energies. There's some energies and emotions of anger that are sitting underneath all of that. And it says inner fire sparks outer action. All right. So I don't know if you're like me in any way, when you get angry, stuff around the house gets done really fast. And that's just about redirecting that energy. Anger is just an emotion. It's just energy. It's just like that raging river of everybody else's thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Anger is another one of them. It's just energy, and it's your choice to use it however you desire to. If you wish to use it like having that little extra bit of nos in your car to make you go really fast, then cool, use that. Use it. When we let anger sit and simmer and not be acknowledged or heard, it comes out in resentment and jealousy and sickness. It can come out as, body aches, pains, headaches. It can come out as like snarkiness. It can come out as passive aggressiveness. It's when it's not expressed well or healthily, it can go right the other way to the end of the spectrum, and it's not good for your body or your being. So start using that anger as like that momentum to get you started, get you going, to give you the courage to speak up and be seen and heard. So your team is also adding to this by saying, create a healthy structure, preserve your inner world. Okay, so healthy structure is about balancing all of those emotions, all of those energies, and kind of going, okay, and think of yourself as like a bit of a how can I put this? Kind of like, I'm getting a couple of different images at the moment. So it's like a magician going and pulling, like in, I never actually watched the movie, but I've seen like the little bits of it with Mickey Mouse and Fantasia, just using the magic and sort of going and pulling this bit and that mop over there and the bucket over there and the broom over there and the duster over there, and just pulling those energies whichever way is actually going to create the most at that time. When we really start taking personal responsibility for the energies that we be, a lot of beautiful, magical things can happen. So have a look at, where are you choosing to use your energies, your love, your sparkle, your kindness, your caring, your gratitude, your anger, where are you using all of these creative energies? And have a look and see, where are they getting used the most? When you're around other people, how do you feel? Do you feel like your certain energies or emotions are coming out of you? Have a look at that. Go, oh, okay, so what is this triggering me for? Why am I reflecting this to them? What is that about me? What's happening here? What's this magical equation that we're doing with each other? And is this actually going to be helpful moving forward? Is it going to create more? Alrighty, now there is which one are you? There's one other card that wishes to come out, so I just have to find her. So often, when we're working for other people, we see ways that things can be improved. And because we're working on the ground floor, and when you're a really super observant person, you see these things and you kind of go, I wonder if it would be better if it was done this way. And interesting. And it depends on the type of manager that you've got as to whether they will go, actually, yeah, that's a really great idea. We haven't tried that before. Yes, let's give it a go. Or whether you've gotten a manager that goes, nope, we've always done it this way. We'll always do it this way. There's no point in changing something that's not broken. But you're looking at that going, that's maybe not broken, but it could definitely be improved. And there's a really great book called How to Win Friends and Influence People. I was reminded of that this week, actually. And there is certain rules or golden rules with that. And one of them is around when you've got an idea and you might be coming up against a manager or something that is like, it's always been done this way. One of the best things you can do with that sort of person is to help them to see the idea as their idea. And to do that, you do that through questioning and kind of lead them down the garden path, if you like, so that then they can see what you can see and come to their own conclusion as such. And then you're actually able to achieve the result. The thing with that is that you have to let your ego go. You have to be willing to allow someone else to take credit for your idea. And if the greater outcome is that you're making things better for the entire team, does it matter who it actually comes from? Probably not. That's just something to think about. So, oh God, these are not in. 22. Okie dokie. So you have a lovely goddess that has come out to give you a little bit of assistance, guidance, and her name is Perpetua. She is the saint of authenticity. I am in my authentic self in all circumstances. So she is where are we? Here we go. So to read a bit more about her, when your soul selects her card, when we find the courage to be true to who we are, a vitality returns to us, a voice that is both moving and compelling simply because it's authentic. Saint Perpetua's words in her very personal and emotional diary were so impactful that 200 years later, the renowned church father Augustine would write about their beauty and truth. Saint Perpetua suggests that there is no greater power than choosing to remain our authentic self in all circumstances. She's that person who remained loyal to her soul, and she urges us through her example to embrace the power of being authentic now. Even in the face of death, she courageously held fast to her truth that she was Christian. Her right hand reveals the Christ Mundura. She also reminds us that journal writing can be a sacred act of returning to ourselves, of listening to the soul voice inside us, and of going inward to find our answers. Perpetua is a call to a journal writing practice, even if it's just to record our dreams each morning. The inner voice that greets us as we write strengthens our authenticity. That voice becomes a light, a fire that calls to us and claims us as we dare to live out its truth. Okay, so the soul voice meditation is what is the truest statement I can say about who I am. And your intention is I am my authentic self in all circumstances. So she's asked to come through forward to be able to allow you to keep working through the stuff with your voice and being seen and heard. Cool. And this is a great time of healing for you, Edwina. So keep working through all of this stuff. You got this. There is certainly a lot of interesting thought processes that are going through your mind currently, and that's okay. It's good stuff. It's all good stuff. You're upgrading too, and that's a beautiful thing. Okay? You're upgrading your voice. You're upgrading your heart. You're allowing things to be seen and heard, and it's time to bring it out even more. Okie dokie. I hope that helps, Edwina. Thank you so much for your very kind donation to Find You Fridays. The show couldn't keep running unless you and the others do these very awesome donations. I'm so grateful for them all, and I'm grateful. Crafting Possibilities is grateful. The show is grateful. Thank you, Edwina. I hope you have an absolutely beautiful, brilliant week. Okie dokie. Our next one is, we've got, our nice little ones from Christine. So let me jump back up to Christine's questions. Okay. Okay. So is this to do with your studies, Christine? Thank you so much, Edwina, for your kind donation and taking the time to be with us tonight. Okay. So interestingly, I actually watched a couple of weeks back now. I watched somebody who does a lot of numerology, and it was around the elections that are coming up over there between your top two. And going by the numerology, the male person is going to be the winner on the day, because numerologically, the female is not in the best spot to be able to win, whereas he has all the numbers. So it'll be interesting to see if they are correct. I have my suspicions that they are. I come from obviously a different point of view. I mean, I'm not American. I don't watch the news. I don't follow the things. The little bits and pieces that come to me are meant for me to see, and that's the way I look at that. I have no affinity either way, just to put that out there. It's one of the reasons why I'm really glad that I haven't been able to vote for the last few years, because I don't necessarily believe that there are enough of the right kind of souls in there at the moment to make big changes. And equally, you could also say, well, because you're not voting, it's a part of the problem. Currently, I can't vote in Australia because I'm not an Australian citizen. So just to put that clearly. And because I haven't been back to New Zealand in 5 years, I can't vote over there at the moment. With me going back there at the end of the month, I will then be able to vote. In New Zealand, though, it is a choice to vote. And in Australia, once you become a citizen, or if you're born here, you have to you actually have to vote, or they fine you. It's like, oh my God, that's crazy. What about a vote of no confidence? What if people not voting is a vote of no confidence? Why force people? I don't get it. But anyway, oh, you're welcome, Walker. They will find you. Yes. All right. So your question is to do the highest good to take my mental health boards. Okay. Switch to mental health for financial security. Okay, show me the yes. Show me the no. I'm using the amethyst for this one. So, truth. What will it create for Christine's highest good to take her mental health boards? Truth, what will it create if she does not? Okay. Truth, will it give Christine greater financial security to switch to mental health? Yes. Okay. So the first question of to take your mental health boards, yes, that was a yes. If you don't, that was a no. And that was saying that it is going to be a greater financial security if you do. Let me just double check with the green adventurine. Yes, thank you. No. Thank you. So truth, what will it create if Christine takes the mental health boards? Yep. Same. All right. And your other question that you had, there's something cool. 2 questions, because you put in 2 donations, because you're smarter than the average bear. Doing microdosing for postmenopause, is my body liking it? Well, have you started doing that, or are you still considering it? Because if you are already doing it, then you will know. Yeah. Okay. So, truth, does your body already know if it likes it or not? Okay. So, truth, is Christine's body liking the microdosing? Truth, is she opening herself up to any entities? Okay, that's a big fat no. So it's saying yes to liking the microdosing. So it goes yes to the microdosing. And as far as opening yourself up to any entities, it's saying no. It's not opening you up to entities. Let me just double check one other thing. So truth, does the source matter for where she is getting the dosage from? Absolutely. So yeah, the reason why it's not opening you up is because whoever is preparing it is doing it with your highest and best in their highest of intentions, right? So if they were preparing it and they were not they didn't have that purity of intention in mind, that would then pass through the product and into you. That this is part of the reason why a lot of medication that is prepared by big pharma is such a fucking problem, because it's not actually prepared with your health in mind. It is prepared with profits in mind, and sometimes of keeping people sick. But even the stuff that is potentially good for you, because it's not being often by big pharma, not actually being created from the right intentional space, it's going to affect those of us who are more aware in a negative way. So I think of, people who are on medication after medication after medication, or, supplements up the wazoo or whatever, and they never ever seem to get better. And it's like, well, look at the source. And I never thought about the source of things until I started listening to a podcast called It Turns Out She's a Witch. And there was a lady on there, she's from Victoria. And she was talking about her product, and part of the products that she sells is Palo Santo. And she was talking about things being ethically grown and sourced. And I had never thought about how, if something is ethically grown and sourced, it feels different to something that is grown for commercial only, and it's got chemicals all over it, and it's not, the farmers and the workers are not being fairly compensated for the work that they do. All those little things, even if it's grown organically, if the farmers and the workers are not being paid fairly, that's going to have an energetic impact on the product as well. So just keep that in mind, right? So yeah. So you're not being interfered with at all. So keep going, keep doing what you're doing. It seems to be helping you at this point, but always be aware that things can change. Okay. Notice the difference as well in the produce, Walmart and farm fresh grocery. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. When you become more aware, you can feel it. You can feel the difference. It's like when I look at water, and you can feel the difference between water that is like organic type water or honestly filtered water versus like basically it's just tap water in a bottle. And you're just like, oh, it just feels gross. You know, who would have thought you can feel the difference in water, but you can. So thank you, Christine, for your kind donations. Super, super grateful. I love getting my pendulums out for you and having those little chats. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, and I appreciate you so much. Okie dokie. Next one we have is Tamara. If you could please pop your question in the chat. Your team steps in. Thank you. Who wishes to come and play with Tamara? Okay. All right. So, Mr. Mokhtar, you're going to be getting the Heal Yourself Oracle. This one, which means I'll be reading from the book. Oh God. Every time I pull these cards, I get surprised by the edges because they're this pretty purple color. And they're just so pretty. Okay, Tamara, let me do that. Aw, thanks so much for doing the live from across the pond. Yep, I'm continuing to do the live. Oh dear. Catherine, I'm glad you found that thought-provoking. I mean, it was one of those moments, you know, you just have those light bulb moments when you listen to something like a podcast like that and you go, oh yeah. You know, like when I think as a child, the veggies and stuff that my grandparents grew, like my granddad grew on their farm, always tasted so much better than the stuff that mum would get from the supermarket. And it was just like, it didn't look as pretty necessarily, but it always tasted amazing. And now in my adult time, I realized it was because it was organically grown with love and intention, and the intention was to just share something that was going to help us to be healthy big people. And it gave Granddad something to do, something to focus on, to put his energy into, so that he wasn't sitting around being all glum and stuff, because he liked to be active. So especially after he had they had the big fire at the joinery and he could no longer work because he was too old to get another job, you know. It was one of those weird things. And yeah, so he needed to keep busy, and so he kept busy around the farm, and he grew veggies, and you know, it was great. Tamara has so much going on right now, physically, energetically, and emotionally. Any insights or guidance would be greatly appreciated. Okay. So physically for you, my dear, I'm getting a little bit of tension through your hip area. So you're carrying a lot. Hip stuff generally is a carrying energy. As in you're just sort of taking a lot of responsibility, and it's like it's weighing heavy on your hips. You might be finding that if you were to lay down flat, that one of your feet might be slightly longer or shorter than the other because your hips are out. So that could be a nice moment for you to acknowledge. You could go and get a remedial massage and just get that hip area sorted out. Seeing if there's anything else popping up for you. Sometimes the other funny thing that could happen with hips is like when you do lie down, you might have one foot that stays straight up like that, and the other one will go like kinked out to the side. It's another really good sign that things are not sitting where they should. Yeah, that's where I was getting it. I was like, that's why I was like this, because that's on my right side. So yay, awareness. All right, so let us get through these cards, because now these cards, they're pretty full on. They're very straight to the point. So I will just warn you about that. This is why I read them, because she's like, there's not been a reading yet where they haven't been on point. It's just that sometimes the messages can seem a bit like, fucking hell. So just giving you a heads up. All right. So we've got this one, which is your first card, which is victim consciousness. And it says, stop blaming others and take responsibility for what you are creating. It's easy to think that life is unfair and point the finger at others. If you hear yourself saying, life is unfair, bad things always happen to me, I'm not good enough and nobody cares about me, why me? I can't do what I want to do, and so on, you are losing your power, nourishing your victim aspect, and ascertaining your place in the victim club. Your inner victim can stop you from moving forward by creating dramas, making you judge others, and telling you that you don't deserve better, and keeping you stuck in a financial rut. You need to build your internal confidence, self-worth, and courage. Get out of your comfort zone and work on expanding and growing in all areas of your life. The light side of the victim archetype is the victorious part, which can help you to hold your power without getting angry and attacking others. It can also assist you to create healthy boundaries and act from a place of honesty, integrity, compassion, and love. Your action for this particular card is to visualize your inner victim. Ask to be aware when you are acting like a victim, and then ask your inner victim to show you how you could behave in a more empowered way. How do you need to think, feel, act to be empowered? On a daily basis, ask yourself, am I acting from an empowered, victorious perspective or a victim perspective? So that's your first card. Okay. Like I said, very to the point. Your next card, it's just kind of like goes hand in hand with the first one, really, is pride. You may be acting out of arrogance and vanity. Humility is the key. When you are prideful, you can become harsh and not conscious of your weaknesses. This can temporarily make you feel more powerful. and superior to others, whilst at the same time cause you to be judgmental, unteachable, and hardened? Have you been fighting, quarreling, and disagreeing with others? Are you always trying to prove a point and defend your position? Do you think that you are always right? By holding on to shadow pride, you are stopping yourself from progressing mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Stop overestimating your importance and learn to be humble. When you are too proud, you cannot hear other people's advice and cannot receive their assistance. Empowerment means that you can be soft, caring, or aware and gentle. Recognize that you need other people's support to achieve true success. So your action is to take some time during the day to relax. Lie down if possible and look carefully at the card. Burn it into your memory now. How does it make you feel? How do you relate to it? Ask yourself, where am I attached to the false sense of who I am? Where have I overestimated my abilities or charged ahead unprepared for the challenges I face? Where in the past has a sense of pride led me to a fall? Instead of taking this personally, now is your opportunity to feel and express your willingness to release any pride that has held you back, and doing so, become more teachable. If you have hurt other people, consider apologizing and being more thoughtful. So, Tamara, just timestamp wise, it's around about 1 hour and 5 minutes maybe before for your reading starting, just because there's those questions there that you might want to reflect back on later. So just jot down, like it's just over an hour into the show is the start of your reading. Okay, but you'll be able to see it when your name pops up in the thingy anyhow. All right, 29. Fantastic. So 12 and 7 is the first two. All right. Next one is 29, which is discover your life purpose. Start asking yourself, what is the meaning of your life? Let me just shine that one that way. As a soul who is having a physical experience, you are here to grow and learn. You are being asked to immerse yourself in this life by expanding, stretching, and understanding your reasons for being here. Nothing is impossible for a soul who is following her or his destiny. Your guides, angels, and higher self are constantly communicating with you through signs, feelings, people, books, and so on. Follow your hunches. You are being given important guidance which may show up via a strong feeling to travel somewhere, to speak to someone, to attend a seminar, write, paint, and so on. No matter how far-fetched your inner guidance is, you need to listen. Your soul's purpose includes a combination of experiences that your mind doesn't understand, but that your soul needs to progress to learn and grow. Some of these experiences will be enjoyable and heightened, others will be challenging and cause you to struggle, but through them you will know yourself. Give yourself permission to focus on what really makes your heart sing and put your intensity of emotion into attracting what you desire. So the other thing that was coming up with the pride thing was when we are in hyper independence, that's actually pride. And I was reminded of a time when I was severely humbled, and because I felt like I could do everything myself, and then the reality was that I couldn't. And I was humbled in the most beautiful way by some friends of mine who basically came to my aid when I really required it. And I had no idea that they were going to do anything of what they did. And I was just in tears of gratitude. Like I was quite prepared to just struggle on through, because that's what I've done for so much of my life, that it was the generosity and the kindness that they be helped me to really feel in my heart that it's okay to receive that from other people. I don't have to just give that out all the time. And I now understand or understand that hyper independence, not only is it a trauma response, but it's also pride. And that is something that I've had to very carefully and gently smooth out. So just that was coming to mind when I was reading that. The next card. And I do love that you have this deck because it means you're not afraid. They're full-on cards though, right? The next one is pay attention to the signs. So signs are all around you. Open your mind and pay closer attention to your environment. Your angels know that you have been feeling lost about the direction you need to take in your life and the decisions that you need to make. They have heard your frustrations and your pleas for help. They ask you to slow down, stop focusing on the problem, and allow a solution to come into your reality. Your spiritual helpers have been organizing synchronistic events and support for you, but you keep thinking in the same stubborn way. Relax and look at life in a more creative way. Pay attention to the repetitive signs and signals. A sign can come through in the form of a song, a movie, a book, nature, animals, people, thoughts, dreams, visions, and so on. At times, your body also gives you signs. Your body may be telling you to rest, change your diet, or work on challenging emotions. Be sure to take these signals seriously. So that's a really lovely one. It's just a nice acknowledgement that you're not alone. There are loads of signs out there, and that, again, that nice little moment of just going, stop letting the pride get in your way. You know, you've got that stubborn thinking. Again, the stubborn thinking is because that's the pride coming in. It's the ego, and ego is not a bad thing. It's just sometimes it gets a little bit too big for its boots, and it stops the growth. And it's there to keep us safe, which is fantastic. It does its job really super well, but it can only work from the experiences that it's already had. And so it's like, as we're trying to stretch into the space that, you know, looking at it from like the dimensional spaces, we as a collective haven't been in the fifth dimensional beyond for thousands of years. We have been back down in 3D for so long that our egos have forgotten what it means to be in the 5D. And so a lot of us are fighting with that, bouncing between the 3 through the 4 and into the 5. That's when we're going through the 4, that's where all those emotions and shit are sitting. That's what the 4D is all about. It's that emotional stuff coming up. So it's like, as we're bouncing between the 3 through the 4 and into the 5, there's the egos going, what the is going on here? And freaking out. Meanwhile, you're still like going, yes, it's okay, we're going this way. And then it's like, oh God, you know. So that's a part of the struggle that is going on at the moment. It's like you just have to relax into it and just go with the flow, as they say. So that's a big part of it, which links in just beautifully with the last card before your yummy card. Which is courage. It's an interesting card, this one. Courage requires you to fearlessly stride ahead despite the challenges you are experiencing. Whether you're afraid of success or failure, you cannot stay where you are. You need to make a decision and move forward with belief, trust, and boldness. Give it your all, no matter the outcome. Despite what you have been telling yourself, you are ready for a new adventure and another chance to prove that you have what it takes to face life's challenges. Stop investing in limitations, lack, and dysfunction. Every blessing has a challenge, and every challenge contains a blessing. You are ready to explore both. Whilst there may be difficult moments ahead, keep positive and believe that everything is going to work out for your absolute best. You are being asked to gather the courage to be who you truly are and to stand strong for your convictions. Interesting. So the action, I'm going to read this out because this might be helpful for some others as well. In order for you to succeed in what you desire, you need to prepare for the challenges ahead. Make a list of the support you need to tackle or require to tackle the approaching opportunities. Become aware of who or what you are afraid of. Imagine this fear takes on the shape of a person. What does he or she look like? Look at this fear in the eyes and tell it that you are willing to learn from it and master the lesson, but you are not willing to be a slave to it. Imagine loving your fear and taking steps forward. What a brilliant tool. I'm like, wow. Thank you, Tamara, for this one, because I have a funny feeling we can probably do that little tool tonight as part of our meditations. So stick around because I will keep that out and we'll run that little exercise through. That would be fun. Hi, Tony. I haven't done the meditation yet. If I did, I'd be gone. I'd be out of here. It's late for you though, darling. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. My goodness, what are you doing up? Okay, and Tamara, your yummy card is imagination. So again, it's time to get out of your thinky stinky mind, get back into your imagination, get into more of your creative side, looking for those moments where, what is the lesson I'm getting out of this? What is the experience? A book that I've just finished reading, it was one of Dolores Cannon's ones, and I hadn't finished reading it, and I was like, realized that I hadn't. So I did that this week, and I'm so glad I did because it was just brilliant, right? And it's called Between Death and Life. And I would highly recommend that you grab that to have a good listen to that. And there's a good chunk of the conversation is around karma. And so often we think, as lovely little humans that we are, that we just wish to have everything go easy. But the thing is that there's loads of experiences that we are required to have that is a rebalancing of karma. And it's not to change the good and the bad. It's about rebalancing. And it just puts a different perspective on the experiences that we go through, both the good, the bad, the ugly, and the awesome, right? So if you're having a bit of a tough time, have a little think about, like, truth, is this a karmic rebalancing moment for me? Is this something that I'm having to learn? Is this something that I have to heal? Is it something from maybe another lifetime that I'm rebalancing? And by me going through this moment and giving myself a different outcome, or looking for the positives of this, or forgiving someone or myself, or whatever it is, like, there's all those elements in there that could be the key to shifting that energy on and maybe giving yourself some healing or whatever it is. So those body aches and pains, the interesting things that we hold in our bones and our muscles and tendons and things, it's all energy, it's all emotions. It's like, what are you learning from this? What is your body telling you? There's so many questions we can go into around all of that. So thank you, Tamara. I hope you have a brilliant week to come, that you're able to chill out a little bit and just have a little bit more of an easy lead into your week to come. So thank you for your kind donation. Find You Fridays is super grateful. Crafting Possibilities is grateful, and so am I. All right. Now, Juanita, you've been waiting such a long time. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, Tony, it's a bloody good book, but what I find happens quite often with Dolores's books is I can't listen to them all the way through because I tend to buy them in person. I do Audible. But there's often, it's kind of like, there's some other things around like philosophy and type stuff like that. I find I need some time with certain concepts. It's like I'll listen to something and I'll be just like, wow. And I pause on the book and I just let that concept ruminate around my brain for a while. Yeah, Audible is awesome. And as one of my friends pointed out, there's actually, like, if you have Spotify, I don't know if you do, but if you have Spotify as well, there's I haven't investigated too much of it, but apparently you're allowed on Spotify a certain amount of hours of listening time over there on the Audible books, the audio books and podcasts, or the audio books. Yes. And so have a look over there and see if there's any books in there that you might be interested in listening to before you go and pay for it in Audible. So that was just something that popped into my reality again just recently. I can get it. Was playing up. Yeah, I love Audible. My brain, it requires stuff to listen to. On yesterday, I was doing a full spring clean and I couldn't have my earbuds, and I was just I so wanted them, but I couldn't. Because I had to be really listening out for what else was happening in the home. So, yeah, it was like, oh, I miss my Audible. So I was very quick to get it back in my ear for when I was driving home. And the other thing I noticed is that when I'm not listening to stuff, my brain, oh my Lord, it just goes, starts thinking of really weird and wacky things, dad jokes and stuff like that. It's like, oh no. Juanita, my love, are you floating around still? Or have you gotten so tired you've gone to bed? Oh, there we go. So she got a full-time job. Oh my God. Assistant manager at Subway. Wow, congratulations. I got the job instantly. Of course you did. My question is, will I thrive? Is it for me? Am I doing the job for me? Any guidance would be appreciated. Okay. Interesting. Do you desire to thrive? I think that is good night, Tony. Have a great weekend. I would say, yeah. So if you desire to thrive, then you're quite likely to. And the thriving can come in all sorts of shapes and forms. You know, it could be that, you know, on the opposite side of things, you could thrive in knowing how to not run a business because maybe their business practices are not what resonates for you, but you don't know until you experience it, right? So I'm just going to do some quick pendulum work first. Okay, cool. All right. So, Truth, will Juanita thrive in this position as assistant manager at Subway Mambaka? Cool. Truth, is she doing the job for her? Truth, is she doing it for the greater collective? Yep. So, my immediate awareness around that is that the reason why you got it instantly is because it's meant for you. All right. When I asked, are you going to thrive? So, Truth, will you thrive in that position? Yes. It was a quick and easy yes. When I asked, are you doing the job for you? It was like a like this. It was kind of like, not really, right? When I asked about the greater collective, it was an easy yes. Okay, so because of who you be, the fact that the greater collective is going to be getting the gift of your skills and talents and things, your knowledge, your kindness, your gratitude, your personality, your magic, you're going to be contributing in a greater way to the collective. And that collective in this case is that team environment. And they need you. They require you. They require you and your brilliance. And that's a good thing. All right. So let's just have a look and see what else your team would like you to know about that. Say, yay, congratulations. That's awesome. Having a pay packet. Woohoo. It's always a good thing. Oh, I have to share with you all. I was so excited yesterday because I've been training a newbie for the last 3 weeks, and we got to sit up at the end of our shift on Thursday and go and do the old contract thing. And I was there doing some other paperwork for me. And so I just said to her, look, we'll just take this opportunity. Let's go upstairs and we'll just do it now so that then, it's done and dusted and you don't have to worry about it and you can focus on your studies and stuff tomorrow. And she's like, okay, that would be great. Anyway, I've realized that she not only signed a new contract, she was signing a permanent part-time contract, not just a casual contract. And I'm like, oh, I was so excited for her because I was like thinking that she was just going to be a cashier, but no, she's permanent part-time. And I'm like, whoa, this is awesome. And I just felt so excited for her, so brilliantly excited. I'm like, yay, because it just takes the pressure off, really truly does. The voice is doubling. Yes, I'm very excited. Oh, I don't know. I haven't changed anything. Didn't touch anything. Maybe I just got too excited. Too much energy. And I'll check my settings. Okay, that should be good now. Oh dear. Yeah, I love it. Okay, in regards to this new job of yours, we've got the ear chakras. So notice the messages that appear as sounds, music, words from both external sources and within your mind. These messages are real answers to your question. Now, what I'm also seeing with this is for your first month, listen really, really carefully, because you've got your assistant manager. So listen really carefully to the dynamics that are going on within the team. And that will give you some really great insight as to how you can best support people moving forward. When you're a new person coming in as an assistant manager, because I've been in this situation before, it's really difficult to, or it can be difficult to kind of just become that role immediately. It's kind of like you, because the other people are like, you know, because people are weird. Anyway, so the assistant manager's role is, it can be quite a tough one. And especially if you've not come up through the ranks to get there. So listen carefully. Listen for what's happening with the little conversations that go on, and be gentle. Be gentle with them, be gentle with yourself, and allow yourself to just be their friend to start off with. That's what I'm getting for that first one. We've also got the throat chakra coming up, which is the angels are here helping you to lovingly speak your truth. Okay, so as an assistant manager, obviously, if people are not doing the right thing, then, and they're not sticking to the policies and procedures, then obviously you have to speak up. It's part of your role. And also part of your role is obviously going to be some organizational aspects to your job. So that's, again, it's having to come back to your throat chakra. So just keeping a track on where your chakras are at, because you've also got another chakra card coming up shortly. So just be mindful of where your energy is flowing through the day, and just like, okay, how's my ears doing? How's my throat doing? How's the last one doing? And just do a little check-in with yourself as your day is progressing, just to see if you're still clean and clear, and or if you're absorbing other people's energies. Okay. The next card that we've got for you is, have you asked your angels for help with this? Your angels want to help you with this situation. However, they require your permission before they can intervene in your free will choices. At the end of the day, your free will is going to override anything that they do. They can shift you and nudge you and all the rest of it, but at the end of the day, you get to choose. So when it comes to this new team and fitting in with that, a big part of being able to do that a little bit more smoothly is to just ask them about them. And you can even ask your team, which is where this is coming in, for ease as you transition into this new job, and ease with your team. If you find that some of them have a little bit of resistance with you, you can say, hey team, can you just give me a little bit of a help with that person? There seems to be something going on there. I don't know what it is at this moment, but hey, can you give us a bit of help here? Because at the end of the day, I still firmly believe that the majority of us wish to get out there and just do a good job. We wish to go into our job, do a great job, contribute, hopefully have your customers happy, and then leave at the end of the day feeling like, yeah, I've done a good job today. I still firmly believe that most of us wish to do that. There's a few out there, obviously, that are just angry and resentful and just like creating trauma and drama. Because at the end of the day, all they really want to do is sit at home on the dole, but they can't get the dole because they're actually fully able-bodied, and there's no reason why they should be. Or they want to be in a different kind of job, but they haven't got the courage to go out and find that job for them, the one that will work for them and where they will be happy. And that's a tough one. You get when you're working with students, for example, uni students, I know because I've been working with one for the last 3 weeks. They're tired. They don't always think logically sometimes, or it's like you have to tell them multiple times an instruction. They don't always catch it the first time because their brain is in so many different places. It can be thinking about the study, their assignments that they've got coming up. They could be thinking about things that are going on with their friendship circle. They could be thinking about stuff that's going on at home. They could be thinking about finances. They could be thinking about a whole bunch of other stuff. And then you've come in with an instruction of, can you go and sweep the floors and make sure you catch those corners? And then you notice that they haven't caught the corners, and you're like going, pretty sure I asked you to do those corners. And they're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I forgot. I just didn't see it. So patience is going to be a virtue. And the last card that we've got for you is your base chakra. Choose only positive thoughts to describe your home, career, and finances, as your words determine your outcome. So when it comes to your work specifically, try to be as positive as possible. If somebody is being challenging, ask those questions of, what is it that I'm not seeing here? And how can I ask this? How can I ask what's going on in a way that's going to be received well? Like I said, there could be all sorts of things going on and behind the scenes that they might be trying not to talk about at work, but it's impacting their work, much like we all do. And so this is where we've got to just come from that space of compassion and kindness. And I think the more of us that choose that, and the more of us that choose kindness, compassion, understanding or understanding, with that little bit of structure that's still required, because when you're in a leadership role, that's what happens. You still got to have that little bit of structure in there. But communication is really, really big. And we've had far too long of managers trying to play one staff member off against another, or not being clear with their instructions, or not being approachable enough, or just being so full of their own shit that the staff don't feel like they can come to them and suggest ways of improving things, or way too much of a stick in the mud. Or on the opposite side of that, coming from that space of compassion, that in their hyper independence, which is a trauma response, which is more than likely a reflection of how they were in childhood, or what's happened with them in childhood. So being in a leadership role is challenging. It's tough. Don't be surprised if you're very tired. Not only are you starting a new job, but you're also stepping into a leadership role. That's hard work. And the other card that you got for your yummy card is, don't forget to keep your dreams alive. You got dream, okay? This is adding to your life. It's creating more for you so that you can do more in your world. So well done. Congratulations. I'm so happy for you. You're welcome. And thank you for your very kind donation. Find You Fridays is happy. Crafting Possibilities is happy. Everybody is happy. Oh dear. Got all the sparkly cards out today. This deck has a gold edging on it. It's very pretty too. It was not my first deck of cards, it was my second. Now, Christine has one further question. So that will be it for those ones. So let me just jump back up. I'm pretty sure I saw it tied. There it is. Cool. Okay. So, Christine, my mum said before she passed away, informed me that USA underlining with the government is wanting to go socialism. Is that true? Even with the USA Constitution. I don't understand why it would change. Now, this is interesting because I watched a video this week. So fascinating that you brought this up. I watched a video of a guy that went into a university, a USA university, and he was talking about the difference between capitalism and socialism. And of course, the students initially were like, yeah, absolutely, we should be a socialism society. I'm going to put it that way. And, redistributing the wealth and making sure that because from their eyes, where they were sitting, they saw that, there was the rich are very rich and the poor are very poor, and it would be great to have more of an equal stance. So the guy who was asking the questions turned around to them and said, all right, so if we had a socialist society, would you agree to having part of your grades, your GPA, go towards the people who didn't have so much of a high GPA? And they were like, no, that's not okay. I've worked really, really hard to get my my study, my marks. I've worked really, really hard on my marks. And he said, but if we were in a socialist society, that's what that means. That means that those people who are doing really well have to sacrifice a portion of what they have earned, and in this case, this would be your marks at university, and it goes towards the people who have not done so well. And that was where they sort of started going, oh, hang on a minute. That's not okay. I've worked really hard. And he's like, well, the people who have earned lots of money have also worked really hard for what they do. So at this point in time, I think one of the reasons why the socialisms gets a little bit of like airtime is because people don't actually comprehend that the countries who have gone socialist have actually failed. There was one of the countries that the guy mentioned was Venezuela, and they used to be one of the most profitable countries. They went socialist, and now they're one of the poorest. And the only way I can sort of ratify this in my brain is it's kind of like this new way of thinking when people are just getting awards for showing up. So it takes away the incentive to try harder. It's like, if you're going to get an award for showing up, but not actually get anything particularly much more for becoming in the top 3, for example, then why would you try? Why would you try to work harder? Why would you try to improve yourself? Why would you try to learn or shift or change or grow? Like, it doesn't make sense. And that's what socialism does to a society. So whereas the people who are at the top, they go, why do I even try to do better? Because if I do better, then that top chunk of my income is just going to disappear anyway to go to those people who are not even trying at all. So why should I even try? And so they give up, and that then brings everything down. And that's why the societies fail. So just from a logical point of view, I can't see that the USA will go socialist anytime soon. But let's just ask the pendulum. Okay, so truth. Is the USA going to go socialist in the next 5 years? That's a no. Truth. Will the USA go socialist in the next 50 years? That's still a no. Truth. Will the USA go socialist in the next 100 years? Within the next 100 years? That's still a very, very firm no. I think that the rich people in America especially are very, very keen to stay rich. And the way that they'll do that is to stay as a communist, the communism type society. I think that's the way it works. Pretty sure it is. So yeah. Oh dear. Yeah, it was. Because they're like, yeah, socialism. Yeah, that's the way to go. Because everybody hears the word communist and then they go, oh, they freak out. But it's like, well, that's actually the governing way of things as they are. So Christine also says, absolutely. I notice the hardworking people don't have any more incentives, really concerned since the collective whole use. Yeah. All right. Cool bananas. Let me just double check to see if there's been any more donations. So thank you for that last minute donation, Christine. That was awesome. Oh dear. You're getting tired now. Everybody's team stepping out. This is nice. All right. Oh, I'm not up to doing a love thing today. Those are always dangerous. I always feel a bit weird about doing finances, health, and love. It's like, oh dear. But yeah, the video I watched about the university students, it was obviously my team was sent that through to me, so because they knew that you were going to ask a question about it, Christine. So, you know, we're getting told all the time about the signs and how they're popping up and whether you pay attention to them or not. And it's like, I swear our teams are just, they're working overtime for us at the moment. So, Orca, what I would suggest to you is come from a space of your heart and not from a place of need. And if they're meant to be with you, they will. They'll make the effort. And if they're just playing, then you'll feel it. You can tune in for yourself and see. So you might actually get your answers by doing the meditation with us tonight. Okay? So all right. Water is very, very good. So meditation time. Take a big deep breath in and close your eyes. And as you breathe out, just allowing your body to relax. Do the expanding out first. Breathing in, bringing Mother Earth energy all the way up through your body as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, bringing Father Sky energy all the way down through to your toes and your fingertips. Bringing Mother Earth and the unconditional love all the way up through your body. And as you breathe out, bringing Father Sky and the gratitude for everything and everyone all the way down through your body. Once more with Mother Earth and the unconditional love all the way out. And then as you breathe out, bringing Father Sky and the gratitude for everything and everyone all the way down. And in those moments of high stress, if you just did that little bit there, breath and the Mother Earth and the unconditional love up, and the breath out, and bringing Father Sky down, all the way down with the gratitude for everything and everyone. And you just do that like 3 times. You'll feel so much calmer. So now we'll do the expanding out tool. So become aware of your body. Become aware of any tension or anything else that's going on in your body. Just acknowledge it and let it float on by. Expanding out your awareness in a big bubble around you. Up into the sky and down into the earth. Expanding out your awareness. Excuse me. Out beyond the size of the country that you're in. Out beyond the size of the planet. Out beyond the size of the solar system. Expanding out your awareness beyond the size of the galaxies. And now out beyond the size of the universes. Taking another nice big deep breath in. And just perceive how the body has already started to relax a little. And as you focus on your body once more, grab that sense of allowance and begin to expand that out. And as you expand out your sense of allowance, you go from being a tight, contracted little pebble at the bottom of a raging river of everybody else's thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And you expand out to become nice and light and fluffy, like a beautiful white cloud that is just floating on by. And it can see that raging river of everybody else's thoughts, feelings, and emotions for exactly what it is. It's just energy. And you don't have to be at the effect of it. Or in that victim consciousness or anything like that. You can just perceive it for what it is. Choose to respond or not. Maybe just float on by, smiling because you just know you don't have to play that game anymore. So as you expand out your allowance up into the sky and down into the earth, this nice big bubble of allowance, expanding out beyond the size of the country that you're in, beyond the size of the planet, beyond the size of the solar system. And if you find that you're yawning, that's a good thing. It means you're releasing energy. Let it come out. You might find the odd cough comes out. That's also a releasing of energy. That's okay. Expanding out your allowance beyond the size of the galaxies, beyond the size of the universes. And now expanding out your allowance beyond your awareness. Beautiful. So now we're going to go up to theta, because I'd really like to do this process in the space where you can feel wonderfully supported and surrounded by unconditional love. So imagine now that there is a bright white light, opalescent light shining into your heart, going all the way down through your body, through your feet, down to the center of Mother Earth, curling around the center of Mother Earth, and then moving all the way back up, all the way through your body, out through the crown of your head, and creating a big bubble above the crown of your head. And now imagine yourself within that bubble. And now that bubble is going to float up higher and higher through the golden light and the dark light, through the rainbow jelly-like clouds and through the pink misty clouds. You'll see a big, big opening that is streaming bright white opalescent light through it. Move through that opening until you're completely surrounded by the bright white opalescent light. It might feel like you're standing underneath the sun, and the sun's warm rays of unconditional love are shining down all over you. Take a big deep breath in. And as you breathe out, the bubble around you will dissolve. Take another big deep breath in, bringing that unconditional love all the way through your body. And of course, unconditional love is exactly that. It is unconditional. There are no rules and no boundaries to this love. You do not have to have said a certain number of phrases, or Hail Marys, or anything like that. You do not have to have been a spick and span being. This unconditional love is here to meet you where you are, right here, right now. It has no points of views about what you have done in the past nor what you will do in the future. It is here to love you as you are, warts and all, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the awesome, as you are right here, right now. It is here to support you lovingly, unconditionally, so that you can choose freely to heal, to shift, to change, to grow, and to learn. So as you sit and surrounded completely by this unconditional love, you might feel a little bit of a smile on your face. Maybe you feel a little bit like, oh my gosh, I've never felt this before. I don't really know what this is. That's okay. Enjoy. It's a place of great lightness. So while we're completely surrounded by unconditional love, I'd like you to become aware of something. Bring to the front of your mind something that you're afraid of. It can be a situation, it can be a person, it could, if you've got nothing else going on, maybe you're afraid of spiders or snakes or something like that. Whatever it might be, perhaps it's something a little bit more unspoken, like a fear of poverty. Whatever it is for you. Now imagine that fear takes on the shape of a person. What do they look like? Are they tall? Are they short? Are they medium height? What is their body shape? How are they dressed? Are they dressed at all? What colour are they? How many eyes do they have? Is the hair long or short or something else? Now I'd like you to look this fear in the eyes and tell it that you are willing to learn from it and master the lesson. But you are not willing to be a slave to it. And feel that last part coming from your, as a demand from your belly, in the depths of your belly, looking this fear right in the eyes. I will not be a slave to you. I am prepared to learn from you and master the lesson. And in this moment, you might be starting to gain some awarenesses about what it is that lesson is. And as you start to get these awarenesses, see your heart softening. See that shell around you starting to dissolve. That protective layer that you've put between yourself and your fears. Remembering that fears is just feelings that are imagined or experienced as real. They're just feelings. It's just energy. And as you look at those fears, start to have a look at the beauty of that fear. coming from that perspective of your higher self. You're completely surrounded by unconditional love. You can access those areas of your knowledge. And as the information flows through, I'd like you to reach out your hands, hold hands with the fears. And as you do so, bring that unconditional love through your heart space, down your arms, through to their arms. And see the effect that your unconditional love is now having on your fears. Do they shift and change, become softer? Maybe they become a different color. Maybe some of the sharpness disappears. They may retain their shape, but with your kindness and loving and compassion of those fears, those parts of you that are holding on to the fear starts to melt away. You might be feeling some areas in your body that are getting warm and tingly. Maybe there's a little bit of pressure there. You might feel like you want to move a little bit. Feel free to do that. Beautiful. And now bring your fears in for a big, huge hug. And as your loving arms surround your fears, just a gentle hug. It'll start to melt away into a million trillion little bits. Little bits of stardust. And as your heart feels lighter and your body feels lighter, and there's a smile, a gentle smile across your face as you know the gift of allowance that you have just gifted yourself by being willing to face your fears and love them anyway. Take a big deep breath in. A nice energy break, and now we'll float down from this gorgeous, lovely space, floating down through the pink misty clouds and through the rainbow jelly light clouds, all the way back through to your body. You'll now imagine that you're standing underneath a big, beautiful crystalline waterfall, and the water is just flowing over and through your body. And any other little energies that are ready to go, that are no longer serving you, are being washed away to Mother Earth to be used for other things. And now stepping out onto a big warm river rock, you feel the warmth of Mother Earth underneath your feet. Take a big deep breath in, bringing Mother Earth energy all the way up. And then take another big deep breath out, bringing Father Sky all the way down. Bring Mother Earth and your unconditional love all the way up. And Father Sky and the gratitude for everything and everyone all the way down. And finally, Mother Earth and the unconditional love all the way up. And then Father Sky and the gratitude for everything and everyone all the way down. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Please have some water. After this, you've just shifted some beautiful energy, and I really, truly hope that you use this one. Our fears are nothing but emotions. And as we know, emotions are just energy. And you can choose to use that energy however you wish. So until next time, get out there, be gentle with yourself for the start of the week. There's been a lot of big, heavy energies, a lot of intensity this last week. So go easy on yourself for the next few days. Have a beautiful weekend. And until I see you next time, be bold, be brave, be you, my beautiful friends. And I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.